Maybe that works. Ah. Ooh. All right. Here we go. Okay. Larry Elder running for. Hold up, hold up, hold up. Turn that shit down. Larry Elder is running in the recall election for governor of California. And of course, we've got Erica D. Smith. They have to run their hit piece. So that must mean he's doing quite well. I think Elder is tied now with Newsom. Um, bear with me here. Mr. Elder here. Let's look at this. Stupid idiot. Little infuriates me more than a black person, capitalized, black person using cherry-picked facts and willful blindness to make simplistic arguments that whitewash the complex problems that come with being black, capital B, in America. So for my latest column, I had to write about Larry Elder. Okay, Erica Smith. And they don't show the ratio. You can see it on the phone that there's like 700 replies here. So there's a uh, quite a ratio here with this idiot. Let's look at Erica Smith, columnist for LA Times, former columnist and editorial writer for SAC-B News and Indy Star, Ohioan by birth, proud Californian by choice. The thing here and whatever this is, the rainbow flag, of course, the rainbow flag. So you're just a soldier, are you? You're just a soldier. You're just doing your job. Joined October 2008 because, of course, you did. There you are. Yeah, you're just riding a stupid train, aren't you? You're just a soldier, aren't you? You're just doing, this is your job in Global Homo. You're doing your work, aren't you? This is what you're doing. So let's read this filth. This fucking filth. This unbelievable crap is what we got here. Column. Larry Elder is the black, capital B, face of white supremacy. You've been warned. You've been warned. Jeepers. Do I really need to go any farther than that? He's the black face of white supremacy. Let's get more ridiculous. Let's get more clown world. Can we please get more clown world? By the way, LA Times, I saw Elder, he had a interview with reporters in Sacramento, and he had mentioned the LA Times that they never run his column. They never, they just ignored him for the last 20 years, and now this is why, because he's the black face of white supremacy. Let's see. Let's read this Erica D. Smith columnist, and let's note how very basic the column is. How it's not. She doesn't try to use too many big words. It's really not a thinking person's column. It's just nonsense. Look at this. Is this supposed to be a? Let's just look at the structure here. Is this supposed to be a paragraph? You've got like, is this for like third graders to read? Is that what this is? Larry Elder smiled the smug smile of a black conservative who could very well be liberal California's next governor. Now I don't know if this is scare tactics or he's actually doing well. He's number one in the polls as far as who would replace Newsom, but they don't really have. No, no, thank you. No, thank you. I will not be interested in this idiot at all. Where do you start with the damage Gavin Newsom has done to the state that we both love? Yeah, exactly. He leaned forward to gaze across the room of white Republicans who had come to hear him speak in Orange County. Right away with the race card, immediately, 3 sentences in, and this bitch has to do this. You have to think. This is unbelievable because you're talking about a black man trying to gain power of the most populous state in the country. But no, 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 that wouldn't be good. we have to start. It's the white people's fault. It's white supremacy. It's because the black man wins because of white supremacy. You see, rise in crime. It's because of this phony narrative that the police are engaging in systemic racism and cops are pulling back. Elder said. When you reduce the possibility of a bad guy getting caught, getting convicted, and getting incarcerated, guess what? Crime goes up. Right. You know, is there any refutation of this? Nope. And then another smile. This one even more smug than the last. Can you say duh? This is a columnist. He's smug. The smile of a black conservative. This is from liberals who give you Joe Biden, who says they're going to put y'all in change. Yeah, we're supposed to take you people seriously. I won't lie. Few things infuriate me more than watching a black person use willful blindness and cherry-pick facts to make overly simplistic arguments that whitewash the complex problem that come with being black in America. Okay. And throughout her career as a radio host, as a talking head for Fox News, and now as a gubernatorial candidate, Elder has made a point of doing just that, usually with a lot of taunting and toddler-like name-calling of its ideological and ideological, it's a big word for you. Taunting and toddler-like name-calling. What do we have here? What do we have here? A smug smile. But you're in the next sentence you have toddler-like name-calling. Well, how did you get your job? I wonder how you got your job. As longtime political consultant Kerman Maddox put it, Larry Elder goes out of his way to be at odds with the leadership of the black community and at odds with the thinking in the black community. Well, god damn, we can't have that, can we? We have to have everyone think the same in the black community, capital B. The odds with the thinking in the black community. What is the thinking in the black community? Would anybody know? It seems like you just vote Democrat and just, continue to kill each other. It's not really working, is it? Huh? I need his fucking ads off. I need his ads off. Fucking annoying. Like a lot of black capital B people, though, I've learned that it's often best just to ignore people like Elder, people who are, as my dad used to say, skin folk, but not necessarily kin folk. Oh. So just ignore somebody that thinks differently than me. Oh my God, you guys are fucking children. You're just children. That's certainly how many of LA's black, capital B, and politically powerful have tried to deal with him over the years. As the Times once wrote of Representative Maxine Waters' refusal to be a guest on Elder's radio talk show. Why should she boost the ratings of a man who ridicules her by mixing a recording of a barking dog over her sound bites? That's great. Because he's making fun of how stupid Maxine Waters is. She's a complete idiot. And just your justification for just shutting people out of the political process. Just shut them out if they don't think exactly like you. Just shut them out. With polls showing that nearly half of likely voters support recalling Newsom. And, well, they're doing the mail-in ballots, by the way, so I don't know how this is going to work. They're doing the fucking mail-in ballots. Uh, they're probably going to try to fuck this up. And that Elder is in the lead to replace him, ignoring the self-proclaimed sage from South Central is no longer a viable strategy, particularly for black people. This sentence reads, particularly for black people. What is the subject of this sentence? What is the predicate of this sentence? This is a columnist in the LA Times who wrote a sentence called particularly for black people. That's a sentence written in a national newspaper by Erica D. Smith. He is a danger, a clear and present danger, said Melina Abdullah, co-founder of Black Lives Matter Los Angeles. Oh, of course we go to this. Is this the one who bought a $3 million mansion or not? Let's see who this idiot is. You want to talk about the frickin' Pan-African study? Pan-African studies? Okay, here you go. Tell Congress that the spirits of George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, Dajon Kizzy. Badoo, Wakish Wushin. Who cares? Demand that we defund the police. And yeah, we should take you seriously. You want to defund the police. Is this the millionaire or not? I'm sure. 48 years old from Oakland. Howard University, USC, PhD in fucking garbage. PhD in nothing and hating white people. Fuck you. Fuck you. It's not just that Elder would be a Trump fanboy Republican trying to run a state dominated by Democrats. Well, that he has zero experience in elected office and clearly doesn't have the temperament for governance. He can't even take questions from journalists without losing his cool. You know who else had zero experience or next to zero experience is Barack Obama. Nobody knows what he did. Nobody knew what the fuck this guy did, and he was president for 8 years. Okay, I know they do that to try to own Trump, but they all forget that Obama had no experience. He did fucking nothing. He was a complete nobody, a backbencher for a few years in the Illinois legislature, and then all of a sudden he's a junior senator, and all of a sudden he's president. Nobody knows what the fuck he did his whole fucking life. Nobody knows what he did. At least you know what Elder did. And what we've seen from Trump is you don't need to have any experience to run any of these offices because these people are just idiots. These people are just scum idiots who just suck the life out of people. They don't do anything. They're fucking worthless people. It's that. Perhaps out of spite or perhaps out of his insatiable need for attention. This is a really not a childish article. What do we say about childish? Yeah, childish, toddler-like name calling. Yeah, this is written by a baby. This is written by a baby. Perhaps out of spite or out of an insatiable need for attention. Eller opposes every single public policy idea that's supported by capital B black people to help black people. What a fucking ridiculous statement. This has been true for decades, but it's particularly problematic given the racial reckoning following the murder of George Floyd. The racial reckoning, how's that working out for you? How's that working out for you? That murders are up by like 50% across the country. Murders in Minneapolis are up like 70%. This is where George Floyd was murdered, quote unquote. Murders are up 70%. Now they're begging the police to come back. There's a group in Minneapolis that's actually suing the police department because they don't have enough officers because they probably all quit because of the ridiculous sentence against Chauvin. Well, yeah. The racial reckoning. What is that racial reckoning? I don't think anything's really. I don't think that means what he says. Well, you're comfortable though. You're in a. You still have your LA Times job here. But you're comfortable. But how's it like for people who actually live in the streets and don't want any part of this shit? They don't want any part of this. They didn't loot anything. The people that were happy when the police came and broke it up, and that includes mostly black people, and mostly non-white people. But you keep talking your shit here, you fucking bitch. We've been having a series of real uncomfortable discussions about systemic racism in institutions across this state. Have you really? Have you really? State Senator Sidney Kamlacher, D. Los Angeles. Who is this retard? Hmm. Huh. 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 I'm sure you really, really are not a grifter and just in office just to fucking steal from people. I'm sure you're really doing a bang up job. I'm sure you're doing great. About how to really peel back the layers of ignorance or ineptitude so that we could deal with them in very real ways. And Larry Elder is someone who just fundamentally doesn't believe that exists. Yes! Because it fucking doesn't. You idiot. But it has to. It has to in order for people like Senator Sidney Kamlager to have their grift. You must say that systemic racism exists because these people could then grift off of it. See, if there's a problem, this is typical government for you. But it's sickening because it actually hurts people. It's not just, making up a problem like, oh, we need money for this department, and then you have people occupy that office for 50 years and, they don't fucking do anything. That's harmless enough. It's a waste of money, but it's harmless enough. But now you have this issue of systemic racism. Here's this real problem, and actually all it is racism against white people, against white men mostly. Larry Elder just doesn't believe that systemic racism exists because it doesn't. That's as simple as. There is no such thing as systemic racism. You can't just say because more black people are in prison it's because of racism. You can't just blame this boogeyman because your fucking Civil Rights Act didn't do anything. You have 70% of people out of wedlock. 70% of blacks out of wedlock. What good is that? What good does that do? I'm not dunking on you. What good is this for you? We have 70% of people out of wedlock. In the 1950s, you had 25%. Now you have 70%. This is after all this so-called progress that you've done. How is that working for you? It isn't. The only people it's working for are people like this and the Black Lives Matter grifters who get $3 million houses. And, and then most people see this because that's why they have to run this column. He also apparently doesn't believe that racial profiling exists. That's true again. This is despite telling the Times editorial board that police pulled him over between 75 and 100 times the first year he had his driver's license. Well, there's anecdotal evidence, isn't it? He also actually Elder also explains his statistics that show that cops are more likely to be careful when they pull over a black person than a white person. He actually goes over that. But of course, this woman doesn't add this in her hit piece because that would go against her narrative. Elder scoffs at the many efforts to reform the criminal justice system and to root out racial bias in policing by requiring more transparency and accountability from officers. What does that mean? It means nothing, just garbage. Instead, he keeps trotting out statistics, those darn statistics, that purport to show that black people are particularly prone to murdering one another. Are you fucking kidding me? Did I just read this? He keeps trotting out statistics, all those statistics, 1350, that purport to show that black people are particularly prone to murdering one another. I can't believe what? You actually put that sentence in here? Jesus Christ. Do we still have the phenomenon where a young black man is 8 times more likely to be killed by another young black man than a young white man? He told the Republicans in Orange County. If the answer, by the way, he told this to the whole state. He didn't just tell it to Republicans in Orange County. Well, this bitch won't say that because that's against her narrative. If the answer to these series of questions is yes, I submit to you that systemic racism is not the problem. By the way, that was taken out of context as well. That was after, because he's done this. I saw the interview. He's done. This is taken completely out of context. What he said is, if I can magically wave a magic wand and pretend that white people aren't racist anymore, would we then still have the phenomenon where a young black man is 8 times more likely to kill by another young black man than a young white man? This is a black man saying this. How do we stop this? How do we stop this? A black man is saying this. How do we stop this? And it's not racism. He wants to actually stop this. He doesn't want to blame Whitey. Okay? That's what he wants to do. He has to actually do something to stop this instead of doing what you fucking people have done for 50 years, which is nothing. Absolutely nothing except grift. And vote 95% for Democrats. Elder mocks critical race theory, although I'm not sure he understands what it actually is. That doesn't bode well for ethnic studies in California. Ethnic studies. They all say that now. This is the latest. If you say critical race theory is racist against white people, oh, you don't know what it is. You don't really know what it is. Well, what is it then? It's just anti-white is what it is. All it is racist against white people. It's anti-white, 100%. That's all it is. And if that doesn't bode well for ethnic studies in California, good on you. Maybe people would stop getting fucking degrees in ethnic studies, and they don't have to be grifters for a living and actually get jobs. Maybe that will be good for people. If elected, the task force studying reparations for black Californians would be toast. Thank God, as would yet signed as would yet unsigned bills to allow police officers to be decertified for misconduct and to support community-based alternatives to 9/11. Good, because the fucking black people want the police. The black people don't want this shit. They want the fucking police. They don't want this fucking garbage. Community-based alternatives. That's what excuse me, uh, Brazilians. Yeah, Brazilians. That's what they want. No, community-based alternatives to 9/11. No, honest to God, though, this is just grift. This is just another stupid government program, and they don't give a fuck what happens to people on the street because more people are going to be murdered. Honest to God, more people are going to be fucking killed. You take police officers off the street in these areas, you're going to have more crime, and the fucking people want police officers. They do. This is just sickening. These people are sick. Then there's elders' views on masks and vaccines for COVID-19. What is the subject of this sentence, and what is the predicate? What is the verb? What is the action verb here? Okay. It's particularly telling that a week ago, a who's who of black elected officials, from members of Congress to the LA City Council, lined up at Herndon Community Health Center to urge black Angelinos to get vaccinated. The rates continue to be abysmal, and black people are still dying disproportionately. Elder, meanwhile, was off somewhere tweeting his grievances over mask and vaccine mandates, promising that as governor he will repeal those before I have my first cup of coffee, and I don't drink coffee. Good, because they don't fucking work, and everybody's woken up to this. Everyone has woken up to this, and thank you, black people, for not doing this. They're still dying disproportionately. Well, maybe because you have too many fat black people. I don't know. Maybe if you don't eat fucking McDonald's all day long, then you wouldn't have the comorbidities. That's just me. I don't know. Just saying. But good for you and not getting vaccinated. Vaccinated. Good for you. I would have asked Elder to explain his views, but the campaign hasn't returned my message. Yes, the best thing in this whole fucking thing. He has not talked to this stupid bitch. Thank you, Larry Elder. I will pull the lever just for that. For fuck the media. However, I'm fairly certain he would say he's thinking of the result of being free and independent rather than believer in the victim and messaging that's supposedly perpetuated by Democrats. You're putting words in his mouth, huh? Fairly certain he'd say he was thinking of the result of being free and independent rather than being a believer in the victim and messaging that's supposedly perpetuated by Democrats. He also say, as he did in Tavis Smiley's talk radio show recently, that he does care very much about black people. I believe that many policies have been implemented by the left, often with the best of intention, have a disproportionately negative effect on black America, Elder said. He's right. Some black people do agree with him. We aren't a monolith, and so it's true he does have fans who are black and will likely vote for him. But it's also true that black people, particularly black Angelinos, overwhelmingly vote Democratic. That's the foundation of a new campaign launched by local, state, and federal black elected officials from LA to increase turnout among black voters for the September 14 recall election. The campaign wasn't created because of elders standing in the polls, Kamlager told me, but accelerated its intensity. Sure, it wasn't created because of that. Sure. I'm sure you're not giving homeless people cigarettes to vote either. Here's the machine. They're talking about the machine is ramping up. Indeed, his candidacy feels personal, like an insult to blackness. Insult to blackness. What do we talk about here? Childish, toddler-like name calling, taunting, and toddler-like name calling. It's an insult to blackness, ladies and gentlemen. I am an insult to blackness. Let that one sink in a little bit. Larry Elder running as a Republican. An insult to black. Why don't you just call him an Uncle Tom? Just call him an Uncle Tom. LA City Councilman Mark Ridley Thomas. My grandmother would say, use your talent and your gift for good and not to bring other people down. particularly those who doesn't deserve to be down. And that's what Larry fails to understand. He's throwing all that rhetoric about minimum wage, all that talk about poverty pimps, all that anti-vaccine and all that anti-every damn thing. It's not only politically, but intellectually offensive. Fuck you, Mark Ridley Thomas. Fuck you. How's that? Go fuck yourself. Oh, 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 he's not a race hustler. No. He doesn't make his career out of whining about shit. He hasn't made a career out of this. Made absolutely zero difference in anybody's life besides his own. Look at this. He's got a nice suit on. Fuck you. How's that? L.A. City Councilman Marqueece Harrison. Marqueece Harrison. Those recalls are clown shows, and he is a clown. What about childish insults again? So it's not surprising that he signed up for it as leading it. He's got a lot of experience being a clown. This one has got to be real. Marqueece Harrison. How's LA going out under the leadership of great people like this fucking idiot? Marqueece Harrison. How's LA going? How's LA running under the leadership of strong men like this fucking asshole? How are things going for you, LA, under the leadership of fucking idiots like this? You fucking loser. Earl O'Ferry Hutchinson, political analyst and author. The only positive I see in an elder candidacy is that it's another wake-up call for Democrats in California and nationally not to take black people and people of color's votes and support for granted. Oh, yeah. Yeah, they're not taken for granted. You're going to be fucking kidding me. Should we? Hutchinson, I don't know. Hutchinson. Hutchinson, you say? Oh. Oh, okay. Total different, huh? Total difference. Don't take him for granted. Let's not take the black vote for granted as a Democrat, guys. Fuck you. Najee Ali, a longtime South LA activist. How's that working out for you? He would be a disaster for the black community. We would suffer greatly. He is the black Trump, and I'm speaking as his friend, although Ali acknowledges that the friendship is strained. Some friend you are, Najee Ali. Some fucking friend you are. Is this the homeless guy? Is this the fucking homeless guy? Let's see. Oh, not printing. Fuck off. God damn it. Come on, can't. Najee Ali. Oh. 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 Hmm. Ronald Askew, aka Najee Ali, spent the last 2 weeks trying to minimize and spin his dismissal from the National Action Network. He has attacked this. What was this? I'm interested here. NAN confirms Ronald Askew, aka Najee Ali, was dumped for abusing his wife. December 2017. Ronald Todd Askew, aka Najee Ali, ousted from National Action Network after wife says he beat her. Okay. Interesting. Interesting. He's a disaster for the black people after this guy who beats his wife. There's also fear of how the Republican Party would use Elder, governor of the bluest state in the U.S. Maddox, the political consultant, he would be their number one message carrier going into the midterm elections in 2022 and the presidential election in 2024. They would use this guy as a tool, and he would be perfectly willing to be used because that's what he does already. He's a foil for people who want to be convinced there is no racism in America. Well, I got news for you, asshole. There is no racism in America. There is none. Where is it? Show me where it is. Show me the government policy that's leading to these numbers. Show me the government policy that's leading to 70% out of wedlock births. Okay? Show me the government policy that's putting you in jail, that put that fucking gun in your hand. then told you to shoot somebody else. All I see is like you basically, if you pay any attention in school whatsoever, you can get a free ride in college, and you just fucking don't do it. So you show me where it is. Abdullah of Black Lives Matter. I don't know if this is the one with the $3 million house or not. Anytime you put a black face on white supremacy, which is what Larry Elder is, there are people who utilize that as an opportunity to deny white supremacy. They say, how could this be white supremacy? This is a black man. But everything he's pushing, everything that he stands for, is advancing white supremacy. So that means he's advancing white supremacy by saying, oh, this fucking shut up. This is just stupid. Everything that he stands for is advancing white supremacy. How would you take somebody that talks like this seriously? Black people know better than anyone how dangerous Elder is. He is the OG troll that no one was supposed to feed, but here we are. Newsom hasn't been perfect. It took far too long for the state to roll out the COVID-19 tests and vaccines equitably. Equitably now, she's only thinking about herself, her race. It took far too long for the state to roll out COVID-19 tests and vaccines equitably. Not roll them out equitably. And if hundreds of thousands of Californians were still waiting on their unemployment checks, the level of fraud and mismanagement of the Employment Development Department would almost be comical. Okay, whatever. Again, yeah, who are you caring about? But as Kamlager said, I'm not interested in going back to Jim Crow because I want to have a black person as governor. Duh. There you go. Duh. You're not a child. You're not a child writing this article. You're not a fucking child. The last thing you said in your article is, duh. What a fucking retard. What a fucking retard. I'm not interested in going back to Jim Crow. Oh my god. This is the BLM idiot. You're gonna go back to Jim Crow if basically if somebody says that there is no such thing as racism. Where's the Jim Crow? Basically, Elder is just like a basic bitch Republican who says, I just don't want to have this stupid shit that is racist against white people. But that means you're going back to Jim Crow. That's why I don't believe in fucking Jim Crow anyway. You believe in the impacts of Jim Crow. When they say that everything is Jim Crow, everything is white supremacy, who would believe all this shit? Who would believe this shit? Look at these fucking people. There's their pinned tweet, Erica D. Smith. Erica's Larry Elder's ex-fiance emerges as leading critic with gun allegation. It's a white woman. It's a white woman alert. We've got a white woman alert. Sure. Says he once loaded a gun as they argued. Yeah, okay, sure. Why did you call the police? No. Because you're full of shit. You're a white woman. Look at this. Amazing. Great follow up, provocative title. Thank you for calling out his BS. Robert P. Alvarez. You fucking people. Love you, Gavin Newsom. I'm voting. Please, everyone, make sure. I'm sure this isn't a sock account. Everyone, make sure your voter registration is still active and your photo ID is not expired. Whatever. How racist, Erica. Now you have regular people calling her out on her absolute racism against white people. He isn't black enough. That's basically it. Basically it. So the move is to make shit up about someone who doesn't agree with you. Yeah. There's something deeply wrong with you. Not really. She's just part of that. Her job is to do this. Think about that when you publish the inevitable retraction and apology. There will be no retraction and apology. This is a complete clown article. Ratio alert. Yeah, exactly. The comment above yours in favor of Elder has 250 likes and 11 retweets. Yours, whatever. God damn these people. No, the black people um, they want the police though. Oh, there was a Steve Saylor thing. Steve Saylor retweeted did it. How do I spell Steve Saylor? ER, right? Steve Saylor. Okay, here we go. I read this yesterday. ShotSpotter recordings of gunshots up 73% in Minneapolis. 73%. But the racial reckoning otherwise going great. Yeah, that's a racial reckoning. It's going great, the racial reckoning. Let's watch this. Let's watch this quick, and then I'll wrap this up. See when this pops up. Let's go. You can't hear this. All right. This is not going on, so yeah, I can't hear it. But it basically, I'll just read this quick. 41 homicides, an increase of 64% compared to the same period in 2020. Robberies were up 30%, and aggravated assaults were also up nearly 10%. I just want to go quickly here. Samuels and a group of North Minneapolis neighbors have filed a lawsuit against the city of Minneapolis for allegedly dropping below the minimum number of police officers required under the city charter. This is what I was talking about before. Right now, we're at a point where we need serious intervention by law enforcement to tamp down the overt flouting of the law, Samuels said. This total disregard for the law is resulting in the deaths of young children and will continue if we don't stop it immediately with stronger enforcement. Meanwhile, the organizers of 21 Days of Peace campaign told 5 Eyewitness News statistics released by MPD are encouraging. For the 8 so-called hotspots police have identified for each of the north and south sides of the city. So, yeah, so they've got a bunch of people that are just getting out and just they're just trying to do whatever they can to stop the killing of people because they had 3 kids that were killed. Does that show here? I don't know. 3 kids that were killed here. Let's see if I can. Do I have desktop audio enabled? Let's see. I have to check this.
Safety. Another group started 21 Days of Peace. Jay Cole shares their push for safer neighborhoods.
Yeah, there we go.
The images of record-setting carjacking.
Okay. Let's do this. I just want to show this, and then I want to show you what these people look like who are demanding more police in Minneapolis. Okay.
Dad was a planner, from which suit he'd wear to work to the meals he'd cook. So it's no surprise he used the pre-planning services at Crescent Tide. That allowed us to honor Dad the way he would have wanted it. Local, family-owned. Crescent Tide Cremation Services.
Right, let's go.
Now, we've been telling you about an increased crime rate in the Twin Cities all year. In fact, just tonight, there was another homicide in Minneapolis. marking the
like
city's
5 minutes.
42nd one of the year. Police say it happened on Plymouth and Knox Avenues North during a dispute at an outdoor gathering.
Outrageous.
Before this latest death, Minneapolis police released new numbers showing just how much crime is up in the first 6 months of the year compared to last. This chart you're looking at right now from the police department shows what are considered violent crimes, and almost all of them are up.
Four-year average
from
is
January
18.
to June, homicides are up 64% compared to last year. Robberies are up more than 30%, and aggravated assault close to 10%. Some residents have had enough. In fact, one group on the city's north side recently sued the city for not providing adequate public safety. Another group started 21 Days of Peace. Jay Cole shares their push for safer neighborhoods.
The images of record-setting carjackings, coverage of big increases in shootings, including 3 children 10 years old and younger, all come into even sharper focus when you see newly released numbers.
3 kids died,
from
but we've got a racial
police.
reckoning.
I
The
see
stupid
numbers,
bitch in the LA
we live
Times.
The numbers.
Here's a guy who's
That's
suing.
my first reaction. And believe me, we live it every day.
From January 1st through June 21st of 2021.
I can only pause it here. That's the guy, though, who's suing. Does he look like he's white supremacist?
MPD numbers show 11,778 gunshots fired in the city, up 7.
Here's a guy who's suing the city for putting more police on the
I see the
street.
numbers. We live the numbers.
There's a guy,
That's my first
white
reaction.
supremacist.
And believe me, we live it every day.
From January 1st through June 21st of 2021, MPD numbers show 11,778 gunshots fired in the city.
Stupid
up
bitch who wrote the article in the LA
73%
Times
from
to
the first
go
6
about
months
this.
of 2020.
Suing
Incidents
the
with
police.
10 rounds or more fired, 327, up 39%.
Jesus
288 people injured by gunfire, up 61% from last year. And of those, a fourth of the injured are between the ages of 17 and 21.
So something is happening terribly wrong when 13-year-olds are hijacking cars and people are shooting, or young people are shooting over the heads of toddlers.
A lot of these are
Something is
Somalians.
radically wrong.
Don Samuels is a former Minneapolis City Council member on the North Side. He and a small group of
Gang
neighbors
violence
sued
against
the city
Somalians
for
versus
allegedly
blacks.
dropping below the minimum number of police officers required under the city's charter.
We hear those bullets. We hear the gunfire, and then we find out that somebody's been killed.
Samuels says community outreach, youth mentoring, and job opportunities are needed to curb the violence, but he also believes more police officers are needed as well as part of the solution.
And right now we are at the point where we need serious intervention by law enforcement to tamp down on the overt flouting of the law, which results in deaths of young people in our community.
And in the middle of all this, some good news from the 21 Days of Peace campaign. It started May 28th and ended June 17th. The campaign targeted 8 so-called hotspots in the city, 4 on the south side and 4 on the north side. Those spots were flooded by church leaders, community activists, and police.
Anywhere from 7 to 20 people a night.
Reverend Jerry McAfee tells me something remarkable happened. He says he's been told by the Minneapolis Police 4th Precinct that for those 21 days of peace, violent crime went down.
Shootings were down. Killing certainly was down. Everything was down on 36 and Penn. I think it's 68%. Lowry and Logan, down 18%, but it looks like an oasis now based off what Inspector Adams said to what it used to be. Same thing with 36 and Lindale.
The numbers are not in from the MPD 3rd
36
Precinct,
and
but
Lindale
Pastor
was like
Carmen
not a
Means
bad
tells me
neighborhood.
she saw similar success on the south side for those 21 days of peace.
It's about us putting our differences aside and really getting in as a black church and being very intentional about the power of presence, the power of showing up. We're not showing up saying that we have all the solutions. We just believe in the power of being present. And in believing in the power of present, you also believe in the power of community.
While we sat at Shiloh Temple, Bishop Richard Howell, Pastor Means, and Reverend McAfee all told me it was the power of presence with the power of spirituality.
That's why we're there. Because the problem is in the realm of the spirit. If we can get our people spiritually healed, we can handle the external stuff. Poverty of spirit is worse than poverty of economics.
Now, Reverend
I don't
McAfee
hear these
tells me
people
the
hating
next
white
21
people,
days of peace starts July 6th. That'll run through the 27th.
Minneapolis Police Chief Madera Arredondo was not available for an interview today. A decision on the Samuels lawsuit is expected any day now, and the city has declined comment on it in the past because it is not yet a closed case. Lindsay.
It'll be fascinating to find out what happens. Now, Jay, why did this group decide to go with 21 days of peace and then repeating it for another 21 days in July?
Yeah, well, Lindsay, it was not like a symbolic number. Reverend McAfee says they chose 21-day cycles because he says if you can do something for 21 days straight, it becomes routine and can make long-lasting change. So there was a method to it.
Let's hope so. Those numbers we started with are so concerning.
Yeah, they really were.
Jay, thank you.
So, a lot of that is like blacks fighting the Hispanics and shit. Not the Hispanics, but the Somalians. The Somalians are coming in there and starting a bunch of shit. And that's what a lot of this is.
Dad was a planner, from which suit he'd wear to work to the meals he'd cook. So it's no surprise.
With this, of course. So, yeah. 73%. Racial reckoning, though. You have black people suing the police department to put more cops on the streets. Then you have this retard, literal retard, insult to blackness. If you don't blame everything on racism, you still want less cops. Yep. Police officers to be decertified for misconduct. Support community-based alternatives to 9/11. They don't want community-based alternatives to 911. We just saw they want more fucking cops, you stupid cunt! The fuck is wrong with you? Oh, I know. You're just doing your job, aren't you? You're just doing your job in Global Homo. That's what you're doing. Just doing your fucking job. Aren't you? That's your position in Global Homo, is to start shit like this, isn't it? You fucking clown. Does anybody ask? Look at that. There's a nasty look on her face. Looks just like a nasty, evil person. Just a nasty bitch. Fuck this person. Fuck this person. You fucking people.